So have you ever heard the thing called frames per second? I filmed both, don't worry. I didn't think so. I knew you knew. If you think about, movies are basically like flip books. So frames per second are how many pictures were taken per second. So this is like frames per second. You see? That's how video clips work. They're literally just a bunch of pictures taken. Each of these images is called a frame. Pretty cool, right? I mean, I don't know if it's not cool to you guys, but when I learned this shit, it just blew my fucking mind. I'm like, what? Movies are just a bunch of fucking pictures? I'm not the brightest bulb in the room, okay? I'm a bulb that turns on at least. Not all of them do. Give you guys a little lesson about video editing. This is Final Cut Pro. People use this program to even, some people actually video edit and use this program for movies. It's kind of a legit fucking program, you know? People who usually have this usually fucking like editing. The reason I'm telling you all this is because I want to explain to you how video clips form. Yeah, you see where my arrow is on the screen? It is right here at this highlighted part. So this is highlighted. You see the size of this? This is one fucking frame. This is a second frame. It's a third frame. Now look at the image. Do you see as I move to different frames, the image starts moving? Like the flip book. So usually for your iPhone, it's going to be 30. So in 1 second, 30 little mini micro photos were taken. And then what happens is you film for 5 seconds and it's a flip book. And you take all those pictures and you flip them and that's a movie. Standard movies is 24 frames per second on your iPhone. If you have an iPhone, it is generally set to 30 frames per second. So this is an iPhone, standard iPhone. I record 1080 at 60 frames per second because I like more frames. It gives me the ability to do slow-mo. The more frames you have, the more things will look smoother. If you don't have a lot of frames per second, it'll look pretty choppy if you do slow motion. I do slow motion because everyone looks good in slow motion. Honestly, if you want someone to look like fucking hot, put that shit in slow motion. You'll catch like at least 4 seconds where they look good. Now you have 8 fucking seconds because it's in slow motion. So people are like, you know, yeah, you'll see. Anyways, so the standard is usually going to be 1080 at 30 frames per second, which is this option right here. Now, you can't even go under 720. Why do I bring this up? Because it's kind of important. So you can go up to 4K. And even the older ones, I don't think actually even allow you to go 480. 480 is pretty trash. 480 is, you remember when YouTube came out, you're like, that's the highest quality it goes. What a neat thing. It looks like shit. Looks like fucking shit. 720, honestly, at this point, looks like fucking shit too. Sometimes I look at 720, I'm like, this looks like bullshit. How can they call this fucking HD? It's not even high def what? Looks like high ugly. So I downloaded the scary chopping video. I know, so scary. And I downloaded my video. Wondering if when you download from Instagram, from like different websites, do they compress your file? Because generally, whatever file they have on there is the one you're pulling. You know, because you have to pull from something. I upload everything in 1080. Because I want it to look nice. Alright, here's my video file. Alright, I'm going to open up the inspector. If you're on a Mac, that would be Control I. So I open up the inspector. Here's our video information, right? The resolution is 1080, so, you know, regular high def, not like, you know, shitty one. 30 frames per second. Let's look at the scary fruit video. It is 480 times 854. So what this tells us is somebody purposely made this video smaller. They purposely downgraded the size because there's no iPhone, I don't think, that comes out right now. Especially all the iPhones require the newest iOS that will let you make it smaller than that. That means they went into a video editor and they made it smaller. Usually give you this option because who the fuck wants that option? Let's check if Video Shop does actually. Video Shop does give you the option to make video sizes smaller. Oh my god, maybe that's why they fucking use it. That makes a lot of fucking sense now. This is my screen. I literally can't even make this smaller. For some reason my QuickTime won't let me. And my inspector thing says it's 1.35 times its size. But that's the size it would be. Now, we'll open up my file again. Alright, this is 100%. See how fucking big that is? It still almost covers the whole screen. Do you see how small that is compared? Look at their sizes. The smaller it is, the more pixelated it will look when you try to zoom in. The more blurry it is. You know, 480 is really small. So I would zoom like that. It makes it like, now I think this is 2 times its original size. Making it blurry allows for room for margin of error. It's like You ever take a spelling test and you know you're gonna fuck up the word, so you're like, I'm gonna write a little bit fucking messy. That could be an R, that could not be an R. See what she fucking says, and I hope she gives me an A. That's what they're doing. So let's actually look at it now.